Welcome to the Equi-Heart Pledge. I'm Dr. Jen, and today we're here with Sharon and the whole herd, who's going to give us a demonstration on what energy healing with horses looks like. So I have an area of my life that I've been really stuck on and really resistant. And it's been showing up lately, and so today I brought it out to the horses to do a self-healing session with the herd to see how I might be able to shift this really resistant area of my life. And I'm going to share pieces of that with you so that you can see what it's like when you open your heart to horse for an energy healing session. And what I got from this session was really remarkable. It was a reconnection with my higher self, my best self that I had been blocking for quite some time. And so by being quiet and exploring my body with the herd today, they gave me the greatest gift of all, connecting with who I really am and what I'm really here for. So let's see how that works. Let's watch. So I start this healing session by tuning into my body, and I know I'm ready to start because the horses are starting to make those sounds, which mean they're already starting to shift energy for me. So I decide to make a box in the dirt with my foot because I want to symbolize and really help myself get into the space that I've been finding, like the feeling space that I've been finding myself in. So I'm standing in this box and I'm kneeling down to create this hunkered down feeling that I sense every time I get into this place. It's a really stuck, hunkered down space of resistance that says, I don't want to. I refuse. And I'm breathing into that now, and Frolic comes over to see what I'm up to. She's saying, hey, what are you doing? And she's also taking a moment to assess my energy field here, which they often do with their noses. And she's also saying, hey, we're with you. You're not alone. We've got your back. But here in a minute, she's going to tell me that I'm going to leave you to it here. This is yours to explore. And so as she leaves, I breathe more into this feeling in my body of what it's like to be in this space by actually putting myself into the body position and then just breathing into it. And I find that it's an old space, it's an old pattern that I'm very familiar with. And it feels like an ancient time, maybe even a slave sort of a lifetime where I didn't have any other power but to refuse, but to sit down and refuse to do anything. And so I'm just feeling what that feels like. And the horses are starting to make some suggestions that I could make a different choice. Little man just rattled the gate and Jem is starting to look at me. And so I know that clearly they're not going to engage with me if I continue to make the same choice. So it's time to make a new choice. So I stand up and I just feel what it feels like to stand in this box, knowing that nobody's going to come rescue me. Nobody's helping me. I'm going to have to help myself by making a new choice. So I ready myself for that. I breathe into that. And I take a step out of the box, out of the pattern. And funny, immediately, as soon as I step out of that imaginary box, my body feels much lighter. I feel a sense of relief and release. And I want to start to play with that as I breathe into it. So I decide to walk a circle. I was in a box, and I decide to expand my box to a circle, an ever expansive circle. So I'm walking wider and wider circles. And as I do that, you can't really tell from watching, but I'm feeling so much better. There's such an expansiveness that's happening in my body right now compared to when I was just sitting and hunkered down. And you can see Charm on the other side of the fence is kind of really curious about what I'm choosing to do. And as I get the circle bigger and bigger, I'm feeling freer and freer, and I want to express that now by expanding my body more with my arms raised out. And I continue to walk. And I feel like I've done what I can with that piece, so I start to approach the horses to see if they're willing to help me with this further. So I come up to Frolic here, and I just get quiet and see if she'll be willing to assist. And she approaches me back. And I'm standing in that sacred place of possibility right now and asking for some help. And Frolic is sort of assessing my energy change here, assessing my field. Just let me check you out. You feel different. She says, but perhaps it's time for some more motion, perhaps more walking. I check to see if she'll walk with me, if she'll be a partner on this journey. But her answer is no, you're going to have to do this part on your own. So I continue some more walking until I feel a shift and I approach Saren, the head of my healing herd. She always does the deepest, hardest work with me, and I ask for her help. I step into that sacred space and I honor her as a divine being of light with a touch to her third eye, and I kneel down before her and ask for her help. She checks my energy field. And agrees to step into service with the licking and chewing. She's acknowledging what has shifted and what's different, and she's starting, since this is work about reconnecting with my higher self, she's going to do a lot of work with my crown here, my third eye and my crown, the top of my head. And I feel like this was about me turning my back against my higher self. And so I turn around to feel what that feels like and to allow Saren to help shift that with me. She stands over and she's working on shifting those blocks. And Jem here is watching. And Saren continues her work, and we're all breathing heavily now. You can't see from the video, but we're all breathing heavily as we shift some of the stuck energy, as we transform the darkness into some of the light. And Jem chooses to join Saren in this sacred circle of shifting. She checks out my hands first. The horses often breathe our hands to sense our energy and also to bring things in through our hand chakras. So Jem and her mother Saren here are working as a healing team, while the rest of the herd is supporting. It looks like they're doing nothing, but they are standing around, shifting energy too. Frolic just shook her neck and licked and chewed, a sign that it was time for me to move and shift. So I've stood up now, and I'm calling in my higher self. I got the sense that this was really about calling in an aspect of myself that I've been holding back, and so I'm standing up and inviting her energy in. And Jem is on my right hand and Saren is on my left, and they're each assisting a different part, calling in a different part of the energy. And I'm breathing that in. And Saren just licked and chewed, which showed me that that little segment was complete, that I had called her in, and so I sit down to anchor it. And I hear Saren say something beautiful. She says, "Welcome home." And she steps in to help me anchor that beautiful energy in. With her and her daughter right on my head, I start to get teary here as I feel the beauty of their support and love, of the beauty of my higher self joining with their selves to create more magnificence, more possibility in me. And Saren here has just pushed off Jem because she had some last piece of work to do on her own. She'll often move one of the other horses out of my field if there's something else she needs to do. So we're calling in the last little bit of energy, and I get the sense that I need to ground it into Mother Earth. So I'm touching the earth. And instead of a box, I need a circle around me. I'm anchoring in this new energy into my energy field right now as Saren helps me. And Jem once more looks on. And I felt a sense of completion, and so I've stood up and I'm thanking Saren for all of her beautiful work with me here. It feels very sacred. And Jem is playing with the camera. She's making me giggle, and so I know we're complete. Once we giggle and laugh, sometimes there's always a jokester in the herd who lets us know that we're done. What part of yourself do you need to reconnect to? What part of yourself are the horses ready to help you just bring right into your life so that you can expand it out into the world? I invite you to join with Horse to reclaim your biggest, brightest, and best self today.